Well,
Welcome to
it's
Shade and the City. I'm your girl Treese.
Nels.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into our recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, episode 14. And this is chapter 2, Renew. Okay. So if you guys have not already, please make sure you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's jump right into it and let's get shady. Y'all, so we started this episode. The ladies start off the morning just recapping the night before, and Drew brings up how Britt apparently got sick on the way back to the resort. And so Angela is trying to call Charles, and she can't seem to get in touch with him. And we know that this is, I guess, their wedding anniversary week or whatever. It's around the wedding anniversary, okay? And so she says that, she did talk to him the other day, but they didn't talk too long because he was cooking for their daughter, and she just thinks that he misses her. And then we see a confessional where she says that, she feels like they're falling in love with each other again every single day.
She's the
Yes.
You know what? I wish they would have played for some of this stuff. I wish they would play that part of her song.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, do the promo. Just play it.
Right. I agree. But yeah, poor Angela is in denial. And so then we see Britt and Phaedra. They are hosting breakfast in their suite. So Kelly comes in, and Phaedra comments in her confessional on how Kelly's boobs are just too big for how small she is, and said that wind blows too hard that she's just gonna topple over. And I ain't gonna lie, I did chuckle because that's so true. Them things is big.
I laugh at most things that come out of Phaedra's mouth.
So Cynthia shows up next and tries to make Britt seem like a lightweight and suggests she not even drink at all. And I was like, okay, Cynthia, you doing a bit much. Like, because I can admit I'm not a shot person either. Like every now and then, but
Chris, you're a lightweight. Whether it's shots or not, honey.
Don't do that. I don't like this. Some people can't handle shots, and I get it. Shots can be a lot.
Like that with wine, honey.
No, that's not true. Maybe 2 bottles. After 2 bottles, maybe. But no, 1 shot will mess you up. If you got a good shot of Casamigos.
And Cynthia saying, boo, you can't hang with us because we will drink your ass under the table. So maybe you need to chill, have several seats.
You know what? Cynthia's old ass need
you. She said, don't try to keep up with these big dogs, okay? Don't sit your little puppy ass in the corner.
Right. That's why the big dog go to sleep at 7:00. But anyway, so
at least she ain't up showing her inverted titties.
Hey, so then Phaedra brings up how apparently, I guess, Britt had a nip slip as well. And then we learned that
inverted nipples. Nip slip.
You stupid. And so she tells them that basically Britt don't wear any bra or panties. And of course she learned that from, their time together. And I'm like, and I had to start to think back, and I was like, I don't think we've ever seen her in an outfit where she's had a bra on. Maybe once, like when she was in her bare naked, but I doubt she had a bra on in that. I don't think we've ever seen that. Yeah. She always had
party for what you call.
But then Shamia unfortunately still doesn't have her luggage, and now they can't even track it. And I said,
when I tell you, this really made me not want to check my luggage. I said, oh no.
So
whole damn trip without your luggage.
Right. So then production asked her about her underwear situation, and Shamia says she's bare naked. Okay.
Hilarious.
So then she lets the ladies know that they're going to be splitting into two groups. One of the ladies, some of the ladies are going to go off to a waterfall, which seemed beautiful. I definitely would have wanted to do that. So yeah, and then everyone else is going to go off to cooking with Kelly in Grenada. So Phaedra mentions how loud Kelly is, and I was like, not too much on my good Pisces, okay? Not too much, Phaedra.
Because you loud too.
And so and you know, when you so little, you gotta have a big voice. You
That's
know what
what
I'm saying?
Paige said.
So Cynthia brings up last night's conversation and how she wanted to be able to, you know, kind of hear everybody's point of view. And so Britt talks about how she had the crystal, but nobody was listening to her. And so Shamia was like, well, because you were trying to bring up something that wasn't even relevant to what we were talking about at the time. So Britt was like, okay, well, how are you going to tell me what I can talk about when I'm the one that had the floor? And I said, well,
And that's why nobody listened.
so Shamia reminds her that, you know, you brought up Apollo, and that's nobody was talking about that. So
Exactly.
Drew brings up, and then I love when Drew was like, you know what, everybody always trying to be in my business, but why is nobody discussing this weird synergy between Shamia and Britt? And I was like, there's always that. And so that's when Kelly interrupts them and lets them know that, you know, their car has arrived. And so the ladies are getting ready to go off to the cooking class.
And the sprinter, Shamia is trying to figure out the weird energy with Britt. And Portia confirmed that, you know, she has been a little snippy lately. And basically tells her, how did I just lose my spot? Oh, it tells her that she thinks that it's because, you know, the whole drink comment when she said that we can offer you shots, but you don't have to take it. I ain't seen nothing wrong with that. Don't act like I'm forcing you when you could just turn it down. Look, boo.
Right, and go about your business. Right.
Have you never taken dare? And even if you haven't, boo, you grown. Okay. Shamia said that she plans to have a conversation with Britt, acknowledging, you know, that she was giving, you know, her donation to Grenada because, boom, you gave, but you ain't give much. Okay. She said she showed up in a Rolls Royce and a Birkin bag with, you know, with a Birkin bag on her arm and a small little box with 3 rolls of toilet paper or paper towel. Sorry. Shamia said that, you know, she said something about the small box. And then the girl said, yeah, I'm going to send you a Cash App, and then ended up sending $250.
Although I think that, see, here goes Shamia again, and I'm going to have to get in her behind. I don't understand why, if we had a conversation before we even went on this trip, why you felt the need to bring it up to the ladies about how you wasn't messing with her donations. You already had a conversation with her one-on-one.
I think she expected her to rectify it.
Okay, that's a good answer. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that answer because I didn't understand it.
I'm not telling you this, and it's a problem just to be talking out my ass. Like, I'm expecting you to do something about it. Well, Phaedra said nobody should have gave less than $1,000. She said that they spend $300 or more to even get their nails done.
For this group of ladies, even though I'm like, donation is a donation, but yes, for this group of ladies, and to Phaedra's point, again, donations are donations and gifting is gifting. However, I do think there is some, you know, it looks crazy when you running around in a Rolls Royce and
a Birkin bag,
and you gave 3 rolls of toilet paper
and $250.
Right.
Now I thought it was dope that when Phaedra brought up Drew, Portia said, listen, I can't talk about her. Okay. We'd have made up. We're supposed to be moving forward. I ain't about to do that. But she did.
And you know what? I can appreciate that though. I actually I appreciated Portia for that. Like, nope, we're not going backwards. I said I was moving on.
But she did say that Drew does need to apologize for calling Shamia a lap dog, because she said it to bring her beneath Portia, and Portia said that's not the case. So Shamia said anytime she brings up Drew's name to people, they don't know who she is, and she'd rather be a lap dog than forgotten or forgettable. So Britt and Angela are talking about how they love them some Phaedra, while Phaedra been slam talking mess about both of these ladies.
Okay.
More so Angela, but well, no. I mean, because
but Drew gets the business too.
She was talking about the miles on on Britt too. So
Oh, I didn't hear nothing about Britt, but I did hear her when she said
oh, you
something
don't
about,
remember before when she was talking about how Britt been in these streets?
oh no, I
Like
didn't
an
hear. I
episode or
when they
two
were in
ago.
the
I think
car,
it
I
was
was,
before Grenada.
oh yeah, before Grenada, but no, when they were in the car, I was
No,
talking.
no, 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 no. I don't mean in the car. I'm just talking about in period. They're talking about how much they love Phaedra and she's so nice and amazing. And
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Phaedra ain't had nothing nice to say about neither one of y'all. Okay.
Oh,
But she
yeah.
did say that she knows Charles. Okay. She said she's always known him to be the life of the party, but she's never known him to be married. Now Shamia is telling the ladies in the sprinter that all the ladies have to stay on time because of the prime minister showing up for them later. And Portia reminds her that is something you need to be talking to Drew about because Drew
She
is
always late. I couldn't even be mad when she said it. I said, that's true.
So some of the ladies get to the waterfall while the other ladies get to cooking with Kelly at a black owned distillery, and it is a beautiful property. Now the other ladies, huh?
No, I said it was. It was.
Now the other ladies at the waterfall, they took some beautiful pictures. Shamia said that she was feeling insecure because she has her one piece in her lost luggage and she's not two piece ready, but really she looked amazing. You know, I think she said it so we wouldn't judge. Then Kelly's group enjoyed the dishes that they made and said it was literal explosions in their mouth. Unfortunately, Britt couldn't partake because she doesn't eat meat. So her plate was empty.
She didn't.
What?
And I mean, I can, if that's why she didn't say anything, because she didn't want to like let her dietary restrictions affect their experience. But it was weird to me that she didn't say that prior to them starting to cook. So maybe they could have made her a separate plate of something, or like without the pork. Maybe it's just me. I know some places they do it how they do it, and you don't want to come over there ruffling their feathers. So
I
that's what I'm
was
saying. If she's doing that out of respect, then cool. But a part of me was like, girl, why didn't you just say something?
I thought about that too, but then I was like, who knows? Maybe she was doing that out of respect. I don't know. Because it did look like they had their set up already the way that they were going to do
Do
everything.
it
So
right.
who knows? Um, and then at the waterfall, Phaedra brings up the fact that she didn't think Britt was coming for her, but she did think it was kind of weird that she brought up Apollo. Phaedra said that she thinks sometimes she doesn't feel heard. And, you know, also Britt felt that she doesn't always feel supported. Then Kelly's ass decides to be messy and holds up a black napkin talking about who is this person. I want to know who Black is. I said, oh goodness, here we go.
Right.
She's not going to tell you. Okay. And that even seems to be the topic of discussion at the waterfall.
Okay.
Okay. The gossip is all about what if she's dealing with Black. Drew did admit that they flirt, but they are just friends. And Drew said if she was to find love again, she was screaming from the mountaintops because that's exactly what she wants.
Okay. And what she deserves. Now, can we talk about how Phaedra said something ignorant like she thinks monkeys is racist? I'm mad that you just skipped over it, but I said I'll go back to it.
I sure did.
And then when production was like,
the monkeys, the monkeys.
when they
Phaedra.
asked her, like, so where are you getting this information? And she was like, well, I think. And we're like, no, Phaedra, you just made that up. Nobody's ever told you've never read that in any book.
Because they don't discriminate. They messing with everybody.
They don't.
They messing with everybody.
I said, girl, bye. So then the ladies go get ready for dinner with the prime minister. Angela is on the phone with Charles, hoping that he misses her. And he's not really acting like it.
Probably first hoping that he answered the damn phone because
right.
He was calling.
So
he wasn't picking up.
She thinks that he's being petty because she's not there for their usual anniversary activities.
Bye.
And then we see Shamia having a shot before they get ready to head out for dinner. And she's like, you know what? I don't want, and this was so passive aggressive. I ain't even gonna hold you. This annoyed the shit out of me. So then they getting into the car and Cynthia has accidentally stepped on Portia's toe. which I felt so bad for her because we know
I did too.
no shade to Cynthia, but we know she is not a small girl, so we know she got some big feet, and
And then she had on heels. Did she?
and she had on heels, so it was worse. Okay, I'm sure Cynthia wear about a good size 11. No shade, I'm just saying, if not bigger. So then they get to the prime minister's house, and they recap their time at the waterfall and the cooking class. And Kelly brings up how she's happy that they could give back and thanks the ladies for their donations. And so Shamia makes a comment again about Rolls Royces and Birkins. So Britt clocks it, and she's like, "Well, that sounds like shade." And so Shamia tries to gaslight her, like, no, I'm not talking about you. And, if there was shade thrown, you would know it.
I hate
And
when
I was
people
like,
say
but
that.
that's why
I
she
hate
clocked
when
it.
people
She
say
knew
that
it.
because I clearly knew it. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention. Yes, I knew that there was shade. Oh, if I was throwing shade, you would know. Yes, I'm showing you that I know it right now in this
Britt
moment.
tells her that she's being passive aggressive. Okay. And so Kelly tries to speak up for Britt and says that, it wasn't the best donation, but Britt isn't aware of how much she should give. So Britt doesn't like Kelly speaking up for her or her
But
comment. And
she probably feel like if you felt some type of way about it, you should have
why
said
didn't you
something to
say
me.
something? Right. And so basically Britt addresses Shamia and says, well, I asked you what was needed, and you just told me give whatever you can, and that's what I did. And she was like, didn't you say that? And so Shamia's like, you know what, girl, you need to calm down. And they just have a back and forth. And so and Shamia then says that we already talked about it. I did have a conversation with her at Houston's before they went to Grenada. So that's when I was looking at her sideways, like, okay. And so then Britt opens the door for anyone else to say anything else that they need to say to her. So Portia brings up her saying how she didn't feel supported. And then Britt decides to bring up how they have a group chat and Portia didn't have her number saved. And so that made her feel away. And she takes things so personally.
She really
Like,
does.
it's just.
And Portia actually broke down. Like I said, I wanted to know who was who in the chat, and ain't nobody respond. So how the hell am I supposed to know who I'm texting?
Right. And so then, of course, as Britt is trying to explain herself and why she feels slighted, she well, let me finish, baby. And Portia said, it ain't gonna be too many babies. I'm a whole grown ass woman. Okay. It ain't too many babies around here. All right. And so then the prime minister shows up just in time, and Shamia tries to get them to put a pin in it and get the girls in order. So they can talk to Mr. Handsome Prime Minister.
I was about to say, what'd you think of the prime minister?
Oh, I could definitely see myself as first lady.
He didn't look the way I thought he was gonna look.
I could see myself being first lady.
I thought maybe he was gonna look like Lisa Ray's ex-husband, or I
What
don't
her
know.
ex-husband look like? Look, as long as and look, I don't dress like Betty Rubble, so I'm just saying.
Or get you
Now
clothes
that was passive aggressive.
What, Phaedra?
No, but I was saying me saying that in the way that I did. Now that was passive aggressive.
You're very much passive aggressive. So yeah, he sat down and had a drink with them, and then after he left, they're talking about how he looks like he ain't married with 2 kids. And Britt said, just because he ain't got no ring on, child, don't mean he ain't married.
Oh,
Because some men don't wear it. And Angela said, yeah, because mine don't. I thought it was hilarious. Portia in the confessional was like, "Did this girl got Tourette's?"
That was
hollering out all her business. And for real, and then get mad when people talk on it.
I agree.
You don't know this unless you tell us.
I guess she said, "Let me spill my tea so y'all can't make it conversation." Like if I'm gonna spill my own tea.
Him wearing his wedding
ring.
And if you know your husband's an asshole and ain't gonna answer your phone, maybe you shouldn't do that on camera. You looking crazy. So then the ladies bring out a cake for Angela for her anniversary. I thought that was super sweet. Then I love this scene. Back in the Sprinter, Britt is talking about how she never had an issue with Shamia and she was super shocked. And Phaedra told her, rule of thumb, girl, the level that we at, don't do nothing less than 1,000. Britt said, all right, I got it. Duly noted. Okay. And then she gets into Portia saying that she never invited her to her home. She said Portia never invited her anywhere, neither has Angela or Drew. And she said she doesn't have enough relationship with Portia to invite her over to her home. And tonight she was in the hot seat. Phaedra told her she put herself in the hot seat
Yep,
because
sure
you were
did.
sitting on ready. I said, ooh. And she told her the mess she was doing was some bullish. Okay. She said, you're joining a girl group and you're new. You're going to have to show yourself as friendly. And Britt took that as meaning she needs to be fake.
Be fake, right?
Phaedra said, no, you need to show yourself as being friendly. So if somebody said they want to come over to your house, girl, you better have a charcuterie board and a glass of champagne. I said, yes, thank you. Thank you, Phaedra. Okay. So then Shamia is in the other sprinter. She gets called from her husband and he is pissed. He said Shiloh was sick. She needs that
Is it Shiloh or Shia?
Shiloh.
Oh, okay. I always
Um
get the two confused. Who's the older one?
Yeah, Shiloh. Shiloh's the little one. That Shamia needs to call the agency and try to find someone else because they can't keep that lady around no more. Apparently, the baby was in a freezing cold room. She ain't have on no pajamas. She wasn't swaddled. And now she has a fever. Shamia said that they didn't even have her first birthday party because of the possibility of her getting sick because she don't bounce back like a normal kid with a normal
Right.
immune system would. And she said now she feels like crap because she's out here living her best life while her daughter is at home sick. So Kelly calls over to the next sprinter and let them know Shamia's got some personal things going on with her daughter and says, maybe, you know what, we should just relax for the night. So when they get back to the house, they all get together to say a prayer.
I loved it.
Shamia,
I cried. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's what took me so long. I started crying. I had to get myself together before I came up here. I was up there with my tissues, not necessarily with Britt, but seeing all the ladies rally around her and like it just, yeah, it brought tears to my eyes.
poor baby broke down crying. Britt came over and gave her a hug and told her that she loves her and she has her back no matter what she has going on because it's nothing compared to what Shamia has going on. And she even broke down and told her, I'll take a shot for you. Okay. She said, pour that tequila up.
He said,
Kelly
I'll
was
take two.
exactly. Kelly went to pour it and she said, listen, give me a double. Okay. And then she came over and said, this is our truce. And then after just one shot, this girl pulling out her titties again and throwing them all over the kitchen counter.
What did you think about her whole little speech though? Do you think, I mean, I thought it was, but I felt like that moment was supposed to be about comforting Shamia and she somehow made it about her.
Are we saying this was not expected?
Just, I was like, because if I was Shamia, and I understand and I get her trying to be there, but if I was in Shamia's mental state and her being in my face and talking about girl, and I don't care what we've been through and I'm here for you, I would have been like, girl, it's not about me and you right now. It's about my sickly daughter that's at home. But thank you. Appreciate you.
Listen, what I'm going to say is I've never been a super fan of Kenya. Never. I feel like she has her ways. I do feel like she's gotten better over time, but I've never been a super fan of Kenya.
Right.
But would I prefer her over Brit Edie?
Oh, any day.
Absolutely. I need this woman off my screen.
Oh, and thank God we getting it. Thank God we getting it because ain't no way she getting her job back.
Listen, I'm happy that Phaedra's back though. I'm happy that Phaedra's back.
I think this is just me. If they do come back after all this controversy, and if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all can go and check out the most recent Sip and Shade that we dropped over the weekend. However, I'm gonna be honest, they said they thought the ratings were gonna go up because they were already down. The ratings were already low prior to Phaedra coming. And I guess somebody had asked Andy, like, well, what are you thinking is going to happen? And he was like, oh, I'm not worried. Phaedra's coming back. And the ratings actually decline more. People don't see it for Phaedra, boo. I know you may, but people don't see it for Phaedra.
I love me some Phaedra. She's hilarious.
And I think it just goes to show, I mean, no shade, but like, I think she did it to herself and kind of jinxed the Housewives, because she went over to Married to Medicine talking about how she makes the show, and then she really didn't. And then she came over here thinking she's bringing back and saving the show, and she really didn't. She's not what she thinks she is. Is she funny? Yes, absolutely. I don't take anything away from Phaedra. Is she gorgeous? Absolutely. With her new face? Absolutely. And new body? I love it. But yeah, as far as TV and her carrying a cast, and she can't do that by herself. And that's been proven, unfortunately.
Well, I'm enjoying her while I got her.
Well, yeah, because you may not have it too much longer. But if you guys have not already, please make sure you hit the like button.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you guys are subscribed.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the Blue Sky, the IG, the TikTok, and the Facebook. And yeah, y'all, we will catch you next week for another recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Have a good night. Have a great week, y'all. Bye-bye.